We're here this afternoon with Sally Kraft from InterVarsity Press. Sally has made her way up here to Muskegon, Michigan, to the GospelComm building to attend the annual Advisory Council meeting. So without further ado, Sally, can you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what's brought you here this weekend?
Yes, I'm Sally Kraft, as you said. I work at InterVarsity Press. I've been there about 19 years now, and so I started the website with the company when we started on with GospelComm. I work doing writing, doing sort of behind-the-scenes technical things and all kinds of miscellaneous tasks, project management, planning, that kind of stuff. So.
Now, you're a member of the Advisory Council for the GospelComm Alliance.
Yes.
And can you explain what you're doing here this weekend and what the Advisory Council is up to?
Well, the Advisory Council exists to represent to members of the Alliance needs and concerns that they have to the GospelComm staff and management. And different members of the larger Alliance serve on the committee by election or by appointment by GospelComm. We meet twice a year, once at the annual conference in Chicago or Grand Rapids, wherever it happens to be held. And then we meet another time, usually about 6 months later in the spring. And we cover a bunch of different topics, kind of bring agenda items to the table that members are interested in having GospelComm address, and then also talk with GospelComm about needs that they see and how we think members might react to things like costs or how to deal with technical changes that are coming up and how to announce those and help people acclimate to them.
So you're here representing InterVarsity Press, and you are pretty heavily involved in the InterVarsity Press website and web ministry.
Right.
Can we talk a little bit about what you're doing online? And maybe we can start with just describing what someone would find when they go to the InterVarsity website.
Sure. InterVarsity Press is a book publisher, so our site is mostly focused on providing information about our books to anyone who would want to read them or use them in a course or use them in a Sunday school class or a small group. We have a lot of deep information about our books, including sample chapters, and we have a store where people can actually buy the books, or we have links that they can go to Amazon or some other websites to purchase there as well. So we try to offer as much information about all our books to help people know which ones are going to help them in their ministry or in their personal life, and then give them a bunch of different ways to order. We also provide some free content, including a daily Bible study. It's probably our most popular feature, and that kind of comes out of InterVarsity's historic interest and focus on getting people to understand Scripture and learn how to apply it to their lives. So that's one of the things that we try to provide fresh every day.
So do you guys have anything planned for 2007? Any ministry projects or additions to the website or expansions to your ministry?
We do. We've started some blogs that will allow our editors to communicate a little bit more directly the kinds of plans that they have for new books, and to get ideas from readers. And we also are working on expanding a couple of different areas on our site. One of them is an area devoted to a new line of books that are geared towards sort of 20 and 30-somethings. They're a little bit more narrative and a little bit more focused on some of the postmodern kind of issues of lifestyle and calling, missions. And we're also expanding the area that we have for professors and students who use our books in their classes so that they can be helped to find good resources for different topics in the university level.
I have enjoyed some of the blogs you've had in the past, the Strangely Dim and Online Pulpit and Questioning Faith, I think.
Right.
And I did notice just in the last week that you've added a couple of new ones. And I'd like to talk about that just real briefly. The last couple of years we've seen the Web 2.0 phenomenon sort of take off and have a big impact on the way we communicate. To you as a book publisher, is that changing the way that you approach a book project? Do you keep this interactivity in mind as you plan a project?
Yeah, I think we're starting to do that. It's really difficult, I think, for book publishers to kind of grapple with that notion of interactivity because we have this model of editing and putting something out that's fairly authoritative that people can kind of rely on. And so the Web 2.0 notion is a little bit antithetical to that whole process, and it makes for a little bit of uneasiness of, you know, how will people count on what they're reading if it's so fluid, and if anyone, you know, can interact with it or edit it or change it. So I think we're creeping slowly into sort of a Web 2.0 mindset and trying to figure out ways that we can incorporate reader feedback and more interaction with at least the people that work on our books, if not the books themselves. And we're trying to do more things with putting discussion questions on the site for our books, and actually, you know, using comments with the blogs, and trying to think of things that will interest readers to know about authors, maybe give them a little bit more behind-the-scenes look at where an author's coming from, who they are, you know, what their experience is, and where the book ideas came from too. So,
yeah, I've seen in the past months, I've seen that you've done, in addition to some of the blogging stuff, I've seen some videos of authors, some of them kind of pretty amusing, and
yes.
and interviews and stuff like that. It's a neat way. Do you find that authors are usually pretty enthused about interacting with the readers a little bit more?
Yeah, I think a lot of them really do like that, and they like getting more feedback from readers too. Some of them are more comfortable with it than others, of course. But yeah, if they have a sort of a pastor mentality, or if they're used to public speaking, they have a lot of fun.
So let's backtrack just a quick moment. InterVarsity Press is, as we mentioned, member of the GospelCom Ministry Alliance. Can you talk about what that means on a sort of everyday ministry level? What does it mean that you're a member of the Alliance?
Well, we have been a member of the Alliance since the beginning, and so we really owe our start on the internet to GospelCom. We probably would not have gotten on the internet at the time that we did without having the help from GospelCom, and really the encouragement of the whole group of ministries that joined at that point. It probably jump-started us, I think, just thinking through a lot of the technical issues and then having that support. And that's continued to this day. I think we rely on the GospelCom staff quite a bit for technical knowledge and for just trends, you know, knowing what's happening out on the website and helping to think about how to apply that in a ministry setting. So the conferences we go to every year do a lot of just talking in the hallways and going to the sessions and keeping up, you know, with how different ministry groups are using the web. On a day-to-day basis, too, we have our website hosted at GospelCom, and we use the ePages store, and we also are using the media server for some of our videos and audios, and we're using the EasyMLM email system for some of our email lists. So kind of on a daily basis, we're interacting quite a bit with all the different services.
Well, great. Well, we won't keep you from the Advisory Council meeting too much longer, but we appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day. Enjoy your stay in lovely West Michigan.
Ah, yes.
And thanks, Sally.
Thank you.